kitchen table. Why don't you pull up your chair and come and sit with me just for a while and take a break from the mundane things. Can I ask you something? Have you ever noticed that when you're nice, when you're the nice one, that people are very comfortable? They're comfortable with you because you're nice. But the moment that you stand your ground for whatever reason, then something shifts. Suddenly, you're the problem. And I found myself thinking, is it just easier to say yes all the time? You know, to agree to keep the peace. And by keeping the peace, you avoid that feeling. Because sometimes it does feel easier. Don't you think so? I've spent such a lot of my life being the nice one. Being the one who smooths things over. Yeah. Being the one who explains and explains again and again. Being the one who keeps things calm. Keeping it calm for everyone else. And you know, for a long time, it worked. But what I didn't realise was every time that I kept the peace with everyone out there, I was creating a quiet kind of unrest in here. Do you understand what I'm saying? Have you experienced this? Does it apply to you? You know, this really came home to me. It was last year when we were flying home from our holidays. The queues at check-in. We were in one of those long queues at the airport, just waiting and everybody else was waiting. And then I noticed it become more like two queues blending into the one queue, which, you know, at the time it didn't quite click. You know, everyone was just waiting, standing there, waiting for their turn to hand over their cases and complete a checkout. And I noticed a couple of young women just walking straight past, and they pushed in right to the front. You know the sort. Carefree, chatting away to each other, laughing and joking. Now Barry, he doesn't like this. He's usually the one that will say something. Many a time he said, "Excuse me, there's a queue." You know, there's the end of it. He's polite and he says, "Look, you need to go to the back. Everybody else is queuing up." Do you remember where they used to say, "Oh, what do you think I'm queuing up for? My help?" But I noticed on this time, this occasion, they just blanked him, as he called out, and carried on. Just carried on as if we weren't there. You couldn't miss the queue. You just went back forever. So, something in me just clicked. Probably was fed up of being in such a monotonous queue. So we followed them. We followed them right to the front of the queue. And I did say, what gives you the right to just walk to the front of the queue when everybody else is queuing up? Some of us have been here for over an hour. I said, everyone here is waiting to go through. And you just swan up to the front and think it's okay just to podge and go to the front. Well, things did get heated because other people were running up and down, shouting at them. But something interesting happened. The reply to me from them, they were completely sorry. They melted. They apologised. And it did take me aback a little bit. I thought, oh, and they started to backtrack. And I do remember saying that just take the notice, because everyone else was getting quite aggressive. So I did stay calm, and I just repeated that we'd been queuing for such a long time, and yes, that they had made a lot of people angry. But next time, just to think twice, just to think about other people It's not as if you could miss this cue. And afterwards, I really sat with that moment. I sat with it because it made me think back over the years where I wouldn't have said anything. I would have let them just carry on. I would have kept quiet. Well, that's the easiest thing to do, isn't it? Just to avoid any fuss, any confrontation. And yeah, that would have been easier, so much easier. But it wouldn't have felt right if I'd have just let those girls carry on. It was hot. We were all tired. And I think that's the difference, isn't it? Sometimes we speak up and it creates a moment of discomfort. But even though it might create a moment of discomfort, staying quiet creates a much longer one, a much longer discomfort for us inside. Yeah, it does. So it's good, isn't it, to realise that I realised that I didn't suddenly become difficult. No, not at all. I just stood my ground. I just stopped being easy. Still nice. And those are not the same. Not the same thing. When people are used to you saying yes all the time because you're good-natured, then what they're actually doing is they are building their comfort around it. Take it for granted because, oh, she always says yes. So when you change, well, it unsettles them, doesn't it? It unsettles things. Oh, she said no. Ooh. And it's not because you're wrong, of course not. But what you've actually done is I wouldn't say you've lost something, but you are doing something that makes you feel as if, yeah, I've got this. I don't need to constantly say yes. I don't need to keep going back to being the version of me that keeps saying yes and keeping everything smooth, but doing the right thing for you. So, yeah, if it feels right. Or do you sit with the discomfort? And let the discomfort niggle and niggle at you? So much so sometimes it can make you feel quite ill. And by choosing something different, you can take control. And I am learning that it doesn't have to be harsh. No, your replies or your requests don't have to be harsh. Sometimes it's just that doesn't quite work for you, or that doesn't quite work for me. Doesn't work at all. Or it could be, I'm going to pass. I'm going to pass that on. No long explanations. No, you just say it. You're just being honest. So it's just honesty. So maybe it is easier to say yes in the moment. But it's not easier in the long run. And I think I'd rather sit with a little discomfort out there just for a short while than to carry the discomfort quietly inside. What do you think? Let me know. Comment below if this resonates with you. I'd really love to read your replies. And yes, of course, I answer all of them. Yeah. So have you ever noticed that? We notice the shift. That shift when you stopped being the nice one. It's lovely that you joined me. Thank you. Thank you for sitting here with me today. And I look forward to seeing you next time at the kitchen table.